Hi, everyone. This is Norman Koch. We're running a bit late, yes. And I'm seeing Anuj Ingle saying it's 11,000 Ks live on another channel. Well, that's wonderful. That's another channel. And Sports Tack have also got 5 million subscribers. So quite understandably, they're going to have those numbers. And if you equate that to ours, which is 11,000, if we get 7,000 live on 11,000 subscribers, we're smashing them. Would you agree, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. They need to be in the comments telling people to come and watch this channel, not Sports Tack.
Exactly. And look, it's not a competition. India is a population of 1.5 billion. The rest of the world has billions, and I'm happy to share. No, it's more facetious. I applaud Sports Tack do a good job, even though Sports Tack is generally in Hindi, not English. Sports Today is also very good. There's a whole host of good shows out there. I'm friends with most of them. Buri Majunda and I are great friends. Debash Sent from Extra Time, Kuntal Chakraborty from ABP News. They're people I know very well, and when we're together in a media scrum or a media box, we're great friends. We go out and have lunch and tea together. It's not about competition. It's about celebrating the sport of cricket or sport in general. Would you agree, Chris?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's why we're all here, isn't it? It's a passion for everyone. So yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, and of course our Twitter handles. I'm going to say it again at Norman Koch. I'm not getting many people following me on Twitter. I've never really been a big person on Twitter, but I'm trying to make that more of a platform. It's an immediate platform, and of course Chris is at Vern158. Guys, we may even get to a point where we're only going to ask questions on Twitter. But no, we'll see how we go. I really appreciate your time. People make some incredibly, and actually, Anuj Ingle is making. Why not say that? Do it. Suggest coming to Eyes on Cricket. And I'm sure there's big enough. The fact is, it's big enough for everyone. I had a funny experience. Can I tell you a funny experience today, Chris? Mm-hmm. I rang up a telephone provider that I'm with. Okay, I'm in Australia. The telephone provider. The call center is in India, in Mumbai. I asked the guy, he says, "What is my name?" And I tell him. I went no further, and he goes, "Eyes on Cricket."
No, he didn't. I don't believe you.
You want to tell you that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. The guy was on Vodafone. I should mention the carrier, but he answered the phone without even going through an ID question. He got my name and he goes, "Oh, Eyes on Cricket." And I laughed my head off. And we had a good old chat. He watches it, and I think that's that. And this Mikey might be that. He said that's Vodafone. In fact, I think it might be the person himself. You never know. He actually was on. Is that you, Mikey? Actually, MYK. I think he might be someone new. It was. I told him to listen. I said, "I'll be honest tonight. I've come across people today that I met a girl from France today. I told her about it in China. I'm having all the fun for people. Munchie say morning, or Munchie, it's actually not morning where I am. It's like 10:30 plus PM. Now Chris is going to leave us after 40 minutes. He said, so I might have to. I'm gonna have to drag him on longer. No. In fact, I have a lot to talk about tonight. This is an Aussie and a POM talking all things India. This is episode 11.
Yeah. Going from strength to strength.
It certainly is. We had 7,500 people view us last night, which was very impressive. Mikey's in Adelaide. Okay, interesting. All right. The reality is that there's a lot. I like to dissect some of the players. I think we hear about a lot of these new young players coming through, like obviously Rishabh Pant. He is still relatively new. He's only played. In fact, I want you to pull up stats while I'm talking, Chris, if you don't mind. So Rishabh Pant, Mikey works for Telstra. I think that's funny. But while we're waiting on Rishabh Pant's stats, Sripali Werakoti, who we had on our show, had a big television effort in Sri Lanka. She was on national television, and she mentioned Eyes on Cricket, and she also, I believe, she looked really good.
I've got your stats in front of me. I've got quick. I'm always ready here, Norman. You know me.
Okay, well, so how many matches has he played?
20 tests. So yeah, not loads yet.
ODIs and T20s.
16 one days and 30 T20 internationals.
So he's played more T20s than anything else at this point.
Yeah. Which typically a lot of the young, especially the Indian guys, sort of come in and do that first, don't they? It seems to be the way in for a lot of them at the moment, isn't it?
Well, he's one man that, with, as you said, 20 tests, 30 T20s, and some, how many, 18 did you say ODIs?
16.
16 ODIs. Very, still in his infancy, there's no doubt about that, of all of those stats. And he is someone who's going to get better and better and strength to strength, and will learn how to score big hundreds, not just 100. And that's a growth pattern that'll have to take place. I'm pretty sure he'll do that. I've got great confidence in doing that. So he's one player that I wanted to focus on in the discussion. One of his counterparts, who apparently played with him in the under 16 and also under 19 Indian teams, was who? Ishan Kishan.
Ishan Kishan, yeah. I've already got his stats open for you, Norman. So you should be impressed with me.
I am. So Ishan Kishan, he's only played the one T20 we know of, which was his debut yesterday, which was he scored a half century. But he's 22 years of age. He's played in the IPL once or twice.
I think he's been around for a few years, to be fair. I think it's more he's been in and around for 3 or 4 years. He was part of the Gujarat Lions really back, and they've not been around for a few years. So, yeah. But obviously he's just one of those sort of freak natural talents, isn't he, really, if that makes sense. So.
But do you think he'll play Test cricket?
It's a long way to go. There's a lot of very good Indian batsmen in there, isn't it? That he's got to displace one of them, hasn't he? I guess you could say that Rahane and Pujara are potentially coming. They're not in their younger years in life, are they, when it comes to Test career? But I can't see them not being around for a few years. But he's got time on his side. He's only 22, but he certainly strikes me as a one-day player at the moment. And obviously he can probably adapt his game, and all the best players do. But we'll just have to wait and see on that one.
Well, I think David Warner is the best example of someone that emulate. Started his career with the shortest of short formats and went to Test cricket, and certainly did harness that. I had a discussion today with someone. I have a lot of discussions randomly with people, and of course I'm talking about what I'm doing. And one guy in particular, like I say, Australia's on the nose in terms of what's going on. Nobody can really work it out. And he was actually from Perth, and he was talking about Justin Langer as well. Anyway, so someone's mentioning, where is David Willey? He was such a great T20 player. Well, David Willey played for England, didn't he? And that's some time ago.
No, you're thinking Peter Willey. His son plays in London. David Willey.
Okay, my apologies. Peter Willey, that's correct. I'll show my age.
Yeah, but, and knowledge clearly. No, David Willey.
Hang on. That was a slight at me about knowledge. Clearly, if David Willey hasn't played anything high level, so how can it be a knowledge base?
For England. He's played quite a bit for England.
What age is he?
He was in the World Cup squad. He won the World Cup, I'm pretty sure, David Willey. He'd be my age, 27, 28. Probably get 29.
I know his father.
Yeah. He's who I don't know who asked the question. I did see it, but he's probably not as effective in white ball cricket, and especially with the emergence of Sam Curran. They've now got a left arm that they probably like picking a little bit more. So he's a guy that will still play a bit probably in England. You'll probably see a bit more of him in the white ball stuff. But I think.
Okay. But I'm just going to get nasty now. You said I showed my knowledge about knowing David Willey, knowing his dad, Peter Willey. Well, what about some sons of other players? What about Lehman's son? Tell me about Lehman's son, Darren Lehman's son.
Yeah, he's a left-hand bat. I can't remember his name, but he plays for.
You can't remember his name.
Jack Lehman.
Yeah, because you just Googled it, didn't you?
No, I haven't. No, our hands are here. He played for Yorkshire, left-handed top order bat. Yeah, plays for. Who play in blue? New South Wales. I'm pretty sure he's a New South Wales.
What about Seagor's son?
Not, but these guys haven't played international cricket. David Willey's
played for the under-19 Australian team.
That's not international cricket.
What? Sorry. Playing for Australia against India is not international cricket. Under
It is.
19s?
I mean, full team. Well, I'm talking. Dave Willey has played 49 one-day internationals and
Don't you
28.
start saying that I don't know about cricket. I may not remember his name, but
You
don't you
can't
start.
compare Steve Waugh's son,
No,
who played a
Chris, don't you
game because
start.
of his,
So shall I start? Name the 1971 Australian side, please, without Googling it.
Well, I couldn't, but you're
Well,
saying
then
that
what are you
comparing
talking about?
Steve Waugh,
What are you
David
talking
Willis
about?
played 80 times for
No,
his
no,
main.
no, no, no. You told me I didn't know anything about cricket just then. How little I know. The fact
I didn't
is,
say that. I didn't say that.
what did you say then?
I just said that your knowledge of current English internationals.
Rubbish. I'm going to play that part back. You didn't say. You said shows how little you know about cricket. You said.
David Willey has played nearly
Unquote,
80 times for England. 80 times.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Ashish, he knows Austin Moore. He knows more than you. All right, calm down, ladies. Munchie, we're not ladies, thank you. Nalakshi Sharma said ladies, exactly. Munchie, be careful. Have you got any better? Are you, Munchie, you supposed to be working? Okay. So, Music Harmony says next pitch will be red soil based. Okay, that means a turner, big time.
Yeah, I don't see it being as. I think that one-day pitches compared to Test cricket are very different. I think that they'll prepare it a bit better than they did in the Test matches, and it'll be probably a pretty similar wicket, to be fair.
Okay. So, okay, we talked about Rishabh Pant, Ishan Kishan.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to dissect a little bit more about this Sky Kumar.
Yeah.
What's his full name?
Surya Kumar. Yeah.
But he's nicknamed Sky by everybody.
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't know that, but yeah, he's. I mean, he's not a young lad. He's over 30 years old, so he's just living the dream, really, I guess, and he certainly deserves it. He's been a pretty good mainstay in the IPL now for a number of years, and no, it's always good to see these guys who warrant selection getting a chance to impress, isn't it?
It's a very intriguing selection because India are not renowned for blooding a new player past 30.
Yeah.
Are they? It's not their go.
No, he's just coming from weight of performance, really. He's just forcing his way in because of how well he's done it in the IPL. So, no, good luck to him. And obviously, I hope he doesn't score any runs in this series against England, but it's always good to see these guys getting a chance to impress and go forward like that.
Could I just make a point, though? Sky's not 29, he's 30 years old, I believe. Anyway, I think there's something that's interesting. Australia at a so-called peak of players, when they had a plethora of players to pick from, you would never see a Test player under the age of, well, not so much under the age, but they had to have played a distinct amount of first-class cricket. That is for the Sheffield Shield, before they were even considered to play for Australia. It was a very strict rule. And that meant that the average age went up quite considerably. You wouldn't blood a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old. I think Michael Clarke broke that mould a little bit. He was fairly young, but the rest were never under a certain age. And they were often picked and often dropped very quickly.
The game's changed, hasn't it? Back in that day, there was no 2020 cricket, there was no IPL, and the game's just changed, hasn't it? Back then, it was very much if you're not playing state cricket or international cricket, you go and play for your club side, or you go and play county cricket. The game's just changed, hasn't it?
But my question to that is it for the better? Because as in what has happened with rugby, grassroots rugby fell apart in Australia, and Australian rugby suffered greatly. You would argue grassroots cricket in Australia has not fallen apart, but it's under a lot more pressure and strain now. Other than women's cricket, which is growing, the number of players and teams, men's cricket is declining, and it has declined for a long time now, 5 to 10 years. And it has had an effect on our squads. There's no doubt. We're still good, but we're not very good. I think that's a fair comment on Australian cricket.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it, to know exactly what the cause. It might just be that Australian cricket is going through one of those peaks and troughs of good players coming through. And, if you look at their side, they're still one of the best sides in the world. So, I don't know. It's a really tough question to answer, and who knows what the right answer is, if that makes sense.
Actually, that's a good question. What's the nickname of Virat Kohli? I don't know.
No idea.
Well, tell us then, Mikey, or whatever your name is. We're getting some weird people. Heartless Sicko. That sounds like an Australian to me. All right.
It's a Highgate Cemetery. I haven't been to Highgate Cemetery, Heartless Sicko. Why have you asked me that question? I'd love to know why you've asked me that question.
Chiku, it is. Chiku. Is that Mizukami saying that Chiku is the nickname? Yeah, Chiku.
Virat Kohli's nickname. Why Chiku?
Yeah. Why is it Chiku, guys? Munchie wants to know about the memberships as well. I'll just say something briefly about that. It's still being formulated. We've got only a handful of people that have joined, which is fine. The reality is that membership is going to be more of an intimate-based process where we'll spend time talking to people. In fact, you'll see a little green logo coming on of people who are members, and I will look at that and ask their questions first. For example, I'll make sure I do ask their questions, but it's more than that. It's going to be an eventuality that we eventually start meeting our fans at fan days, or not even fan days, colleagues days, or fellow minded people, because there'll be a day when we're all together with Chris in England, or Chris joins us in India, or maybe even Australia. And that's the idea of this. That's great. It's a great concept. I'm not saying other people don't do that, but if you create a true club, a true membership, it's valued. And I know there's a monetary component put to it. That's obviously taking care of some of our expenses when it comes to these things too. But I want people to invite us to their homes or invite us to their restaurants or wherever they are, as long as it's in the areas we're going. I mean, I have a particularly strong relationship with Kolkata and Mumbai. They're cities I certainly will visit. Mm-hmm. But in England, so we're going to arrange that. We might have virtual Zoom or other methods of vision, which won't be televised. It'll be private. So that would mean Chris and I go on Zoom or Skype, and we don't record it, and you just talk. You can be as free with the discussions. We can be as free with the discussions because no one's recording it. It's going to be quite pleasant. We might record the occasional one if it's someone significant. We're trying to get Monty Panesar to actually approach people in the Road Safety World Series because he's in a hotel where all the players are. So that intimacy we're looking to try and get. Norman, check your Instagram. I sent you the state of Privy Shaw and Vijay Hazard. I saw that shit on the chart. Privy Shaw's a funny one. He has not done well at the international level. He's rather, I wouldn't say choked, but he hasn't been able to mentally get his head around it. He's going back and scoring runs domestically, which we take our hat off to, but he may have missed the boat a bit. I think his position in the queue now has actually dropped.
Yeah, he's still a youngster though, isn't he? So, yeah, I mean, he'll get another chance, I'm sure, and you just have to take it. You know, it was a pretty tough sort of baptism into Test cricket in Australia, wasn't it? But you know, there's not many easy places to go overseas. You know, you can probably just hope to get a home series and go from there. But you know, he might have made his debut in New Zealand or in England, which are probably tougher in terms of the ball moving about. So you just have to take your chance when you get it and hope that you have a bit of luck and score some runs and now you're placing the side that way, if that makes sense.
Well, Shubman Gill's the one that's taken. Shubman Gill's he's the one that's taken his opportunity.
Yeah.
And now the likes of Ishan Kishan certainly has, and Washington Sundar took his opportunity. Shardul Thakur took his opportunity. That's the evidence of it. Okay, we've gone through punts. We've gone through the likes of Ishan Kishan. Now I had a few more names there. They're actually on the actual invite for this particular session. Let me just check the names. Yeah, we had Shreyas Iyer is another person I'd like to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So we mentioned Sky Kuma there about his age and about the situation with him. Shreyas Iyer almost looks to me like he could be a potential captain or vice captain in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean it's tricky, isn't it? You know, he's not played a Test match yet. He's only played sort of 21 days. You know, he's played a lot of IPL stuff, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
His temperament, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, he looks very impressive. You know, he's started pretty well. You know, averages about 30 in one day T20 international cricket, and yeah, you just have to give these guys a run on the side. You know, it's really difficult to say about temperament and future captain if they're hardly playing, isn't it? So, you know, I hope that he gets a run on the side and they don't drop him if if Ishan Kishan goes down the order, or they want to play Rohit and KL Rahul. So his position is the one that's probably up for debate. So you need to give these guys a good run on the side and let them prove their worth to you, because otherwise, how do you know?
But you're still not giving me your take on him. Do you think he's going to make a test then?
I don't know enough about him. His first class record is pretty solid, but a lot of those guys averages 50 odd in first class cricket. But a lot of those Indian batsmen do exactly the same. So I don't know where they see him fitting in. You've got Agarwal, you've got Pretty Shaw, you've got KL Rahul. Those guys, weren't playing in the Test side. So there's clearly a big long queue when it comes to batters coming in. So I'm sure he'll take the chance if he ever gets it, and let's hope he does, because he's a good player.
Okay, so I know we don't want to cast ourselves too far ahead, but Agarwal's someone who's underrated. The other person from the bowling perspective is Shardul Thakur. He doesn't necessarily bowl express pace, but his death bowling, which has been mentioned in the commentary, is quite definitive. And it does seem to... He bowled well in Australia as well. He looked... Yeah. I saw him live in Australia, and his control on Australian pitches and the swing and cut that he got, I don't want to say it was Anderson-like, but it certainly was right up there, despite not having the pace. And I think we have to realise that people don't have to necessarily be the fastest bowler in the world to be very effective with swing and cut. There's I even go back to the days of Doug Walters when he bowled. These beautiful little curling delivery that used to just move beautifully. They used to be very hard to play. He had no pace to him, but he was a clever bowler. And I think there is a place for that level of bowler. I mean, de Grandhomme from New Zealand. You ever seen him bowl? He bowls sensationally. He really does.
Win condition suit. He's a fine bowler, isn't he?
And he bats well. What's happened to him, by the way? He doesn't seem to be around at the moment.
I know he's been playing obviously domestic cricket, but if you look at what New Zealand have, he just doesn't. He's just probably not quite good enough as a bowler to get into what they've got. They've got Bolt, Wagner, Southey, Jameson. They've got a lot of good guys there that come through and probably displace the Grandhomme spot in the side.
Someone's mentioned India's butler. Who's that?
KL Rahul, I think.
Right. Okay. Fine. Yeah, I feel sorry for him too. It's a bit disillusioning because he was clearly in the Test side for quite a while there, and then fell out for some reason, and now is in that short version wilderness a bit, where he's given the keeping role, and I don't know, they've knocked him around a little bit, if you ask me. We've got another person called Yura Shivam Dubey. He's been mentioned before. I have seen that name floating around.
Yeah, he's another guy coming through in the IPL. I think he's RCB or Sunrisers. I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But he's one to watch out for in the IPL this year. He's a guy that's coming through. So they've just got a lot of talent there, haven't they? A lot of these guys would play a lot more international cricket if they weren't Indian, if that makes sense. So it's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess, with Indian cricket, that they've got such an embarrassment of riches that these guys just have to make their case and take the chance, and they get it.
Sevenoaks Vine cap came back, by the way. I can see. Is that what you're wearing?
This is my Sevenoaks Vine cap, yeah.
Can you just show the emblem a bit closer to the screen? So we've got a person batting in front of two stumps.
Yeah.
And that's what's that, like is that a vine I'm seeing there?
Yeah, it's just a crest with the year that it was founded, so 1734.
And no, that wasn't the year I was born, guys. So any sarcastic jokes like that will be deleted.
Okay. He was at least 100 years after that.
I think let's keep going there. Guys, what do you think I should do about Chris Vernon's cheekiness? Do you think I should punish him in some way?
But you couldn't say it by yourself when you'd have no viewers left.
Oh my God, the overwhelming exaggeration of his importance is coming. This Brad Pitt-esque. I'm going to say Brad Pitt-esque or Pitty.
Oh, you said it, not me.
Well, Brad Pitt, he gets girls to swoon. So far, you've got Music Harmony to swoon. I think that's better.
Music Harmony. I still don't know who he is, but I'm sure he's one of my biggest fans. He's he's a nice.
Let me replay that. You are sure he's one of your biggest fans. Where do you get the audacity to say that? That is
You said it. Music Harmony, if you're listening, just confirm in the comments that you're one of my biggest fans.
Music Harmony. We've had our discussions on LinkedIn. I know who you are.
I know who he is too, but I prefer looking at him like the Stig. Like, I'd never want him to take the helmet off.
Very droll, very droll. Amit said Brad Pitt. Come on,
he's not one of my. He always likes to have a bit of a go at me, Amit. So it's always nice to see him in the chat. Hopefully, he woke up on the right side of the bed today and he's being nice. So,
hey, I have a go at you. What about you have a go at me?
I never have a go at you. Nobody's a fan of Chris. There is Amit. I knew he'd be back today. Good to see you in a good mood, Amit.
Oh, nobody's a fan of Chris. I love it. I love this. Is good value. All right, now, right. So we've gone through now. Washington Sundar.
Mm-hmm.
Go through him a little bit. We know he's obviously debuted in Australia.
Yeah.
And his first 2 matches, he knocked him out of the park in terms of his batting bowling prowesses. Were particularly strong. He got a 60-odd and 3 wickets, I think, in his first performance. If you have to think about that, you've debuted for your country and you got 60 runs and 3 wickets. That's a pretty good combination.
Yeah, he looks a pretty promising guy, doesn't he? I just don't think that I don't see him having a massively long Test career unless his batting unless he can slide it up the order somewhere. Just because you've got Ashwin, Jadeja, and Axar Patel, who are comfortably ahead of him in the bowling department, and India's strength is their batting. They've got a very settled, solid sort of top 5 or 6, and their spin options are really settled as well. So I really don't see how he can get into that side for the foreseeable future. I know he's only 21, so he's a youngster, but he's probably going to have to wait his time to come into the Test fold. I think that he's obviously a good bowler in one-day cricket, but he bowls a bit flatter and a bit, he just bowls quite tight and restricts. So we just have to wait and see. But I don't see him breaking into the Test side a while as a permanent fix, just because I don't think either of his skills are quite where they need to be for India when they're full strength.
But you realise the more you say that, the more that's likely not to happen.
In what respect? What do you mean?
Well, you keep on saying he's unlikely to play any more Tests.
No, I just think when they're full strength, I struggle to see where he fits in when they're full strength, because Axar Patel probably doesn't play when they're full strength. So, he's a long way ahead of Sundar with the bowling. And if you look at the batting that they've got, I don't see how Sundar fits into that top 5 or 6. Yeah,
but we all know that when everybody's ready, everybody's fit, everybody's informed, that may well be the case. But the reality is time tests all, and a lot of people don't have the opportunity to have that certainty of a Test makeup. Look at Australia. We had that sandpaper gate. You wouldn't expect that to happen, did you?
Yeah, but that's extenuating circumstance that you can't call for. All I'm saying is that at full strength, I don't see where his place in the side is. Obviously, the 4 of the top 5 could all break a leg in England and he plays the whole series. It's easy to say ifs and buts, but, I think that at the moment he needs to go away and probably really work on his batting to try and maybe push a case to get into that top 5 or 6 as a batter.
So Bumrah's getting married today. What's the auspicious?
All I've seen is the comments that he got married in Goa today, apparently. So,
but do we know the auspicious time?
Nikhil Bharadwaj, good day, gents from Sydney. There you go. There's one of your fans, Sydney Norman. Some of the hate India have been getting from fans of rival nations has been disgusting, born out of jealousy, purely down to the fact that we've been excelling in all formats recently. I don't think there's been any hate, Nikhil. I think that's a fairly strong word. I think it's just cricket fans, some different nations are. That unfortunately, that comes with the territory. A lot of the good sides over the years, and the good players are subject to the most amount of criticism and rivalry. Really, isn't it? There's no hate, apart from maybe some banter aside. And the Indian cricket side are a brilliant side, and no, they deserve all the credit they've got. But I think hate is a fairly strong word and one I would disagree with.
Yeah. So we've gone through Rishabh Pant, Shreyas Iyer, Ishan Kishan. I love that name, Ishan Kishan. That's a really trendy
Yeah.
little name. Sky, as I put him, Yadav, and Washington Sundar. Mohammad Siraj
Hmm.
has certainly come out of what is virtual nowhere. I don't think he was expected to be selected in Australia at all, and now has become a fairly significant bowling partner in the team. Even though Shami and the like are not there, he certainly has got a place, hasn't
Yeah, no, he looks very decent. I guess the problem at the moment for a lot of the Indian quick bowlers is, although they've got a great crop, they're always going to produce wickets that don't suit them in India. You know, they're going to be the spinning wickets. So in terms of bowling in Test match cricket, he's probably going to do most of his international cricket overseas, if that makes sense. So he looks like he'll come on tour to England, and he looks a very good option, doesn't he? So yeah, we'll just have to see how he goes. I don't know if he'll play in England in the Test series when everyone's fit. You know, Bumrah, Shami, Sharma, Yadav. You know, Hardik will play. So there's a lot of competition for places there, and it'll just be interesting to see how he goes.
Well, Shami has a long way to go before he's ready. Let's be specific about the June 18th match. That's less than 3 months away. I know it sounds like a long time, but this break was quite severe, actually.
Yeah, but he'll be back. He'll be back for the IPL, won't he? I'd be staggered if you don't see Mohamed Shami playing in the IPL at some point.
Oh, he's a tremendous bowler. He's an absolutely tremendous bowler. I think he's one of the most. He's lovely to watch bowl, in my opinion.
He's
the way he comes. Yeah. Okay, back to Virat Kohli. Now, we don't need to talk about him in terms of his history. We know he's got a great batting record, and his overall performance has been exemplary. He got the player. He was player of the match the previous match, wasn't he?
Kohli, yesterday. Yeah, I would imagine he was. I didn't see it, but I don't see how he wouldn't have been.
Yeah. So Virat Kohli, he will finish, I would say, the number one run together for T20Is. I think that's pretty certain. He is already, but I think they will only go further ahead. ODIs, he's sixth, but is rocketing. I think for the full career ahead of him, say five or more years, he will definitely play and reach, well, definitely second on the list. Whether he beats,
I think he'll struggle to go past Tendulkar.
Sorry,
he'll struggle to go past Tendulkar just because of how Tendulkar his just longevity in the sport, wasn't it? You know, he played for 25 years almost. So
not quite 25 years.
Well, 16 and retired at 40, wasn't it? 24 years, 23, 24 years. So
Okay.
it's just impossible to get anywhere close to him just because of the longevity that he had. And I don't think anyone will ever do something like that again. So, yeah.
Although Mithali Raj is certainly trying to give it a good old crack. She's almost like making a sort of female version. There's a lot of politics going on there between her and Harmanpreet Kaur. They don't get along. I don't care what anyone tells me. They don't get along.
We're in the Indian side.
Well, Mithali Raj probably is playing well beyond her years and playing well, but it's probably time that the banner went over to Harmanpreet Kaur permanently. And it's intriguing how, and also the keeper, the young keeper, the 21-year-old, I've forgotten her name. I've had a mental block with her name. She was certainly someone who I thought was promising, but it's not on the side at the moment. They've gone back to a degree of old stages, and they've actually just lost the series, haven't they? Even though they played well, they've just lost the series. And South Africa beat them quite comprehensively. So whether their selections have now proven a mistake is interesting. In fact, I think there's a lot to be said about that. All right, so back to Virat Kohli. Now, Virat Kohli proved yet again that he's worth his weight in gold. He's lead by example type of captaincy. Do as I do rather than what I say, maybe. Even though they may go and have a chat to Rahane in the test matches, and you would argue Rohit Sharma as well. Mm-hmm. It's funny that I think Kohli understands that and likes that. Takes the pressure off him.
That's what a good captaincy listens to his generals, as it were, isn't it? So it's I like Kohli. I think that his captaincy is probably very different to Owen Morgan's in that respect, but that doesn't say that one's better than the other. He's obviously got a brilliant side. They both got great sides that play under them as well. So that helps. But yeah, I think that anyone calling for Kohli's head was a little bit premature. I think that he's proven his net worth over the last few years as captain, scoring averages 63 as captain. So, it's not like he doesn't perform well when he's captain.
Yeah, I think it's more of an emotion rather than a true reflection of how he's playing.
Yeah.
India are so much, as were Australia for many years and probably West Indies for many years, expect to win. When they don't win, they want the heads rolling. And that's a typical overreaction. I think that's, what's the word for it? It's not acceptable, but it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fair point?
Yeah, I think so. It's just, I guess, when it just comes with the passion from Indian fans, isn't it? But England could lose this series 5-0, and I don't think anyone would be calling for Owen Morgan's head or saying that he should be sacked. So I guess it's just different.
Different emotions to the reaction of the team. I agree, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, but I think Indians understand that. They understand the reactions can be rather extreme, and it is an emotion that you have. I just want you to understand. How would you feel if you had a country which had, how many people are in England?
Say that again, sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
What's the population of England?
Oh, about 60, 70 million. 80 million,
Okay.
something like that.
Well, try and times that by 20.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, or even more than that, isn't it? But it's a completely different aspect, isn't it? And it's impossible to appreciate, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
There is my biggest fan, Music Harmony. He hasn't confirmed or denied this yet. So if you're listening, Music Harmony, please just confirm to Norman that you're my biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, because your ego needs stroking. Is that what you're trying to say?
Shivam Shah, India's top order, will have to step up in England if there's any chance for us to win. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have even said that India's top order performed particularly well in the Test series versus England. It was just the bowlers that basically dug them out of the hole in at least two of the last two Tests. So, to go and play a swinging ball in England, that those guys are going to have to be on form. And we've talked about that quite a lot anyway. So it'll be interesting to see what. Yes, I'm a big fan of both Chris and Norman, but he put me first, Norman. You see, so he must like me more.
But I had a question mark after. I had an exclamation mark after mine. You had no exclamation mark on yours. So that's a telling sign.
Maybe.
Okay, taking a step back here. Okay, Virat Kohli will be the top T20 international run scorer, and will cement that fact. He will reach second in the ODI numbers, and I believe he could give it a good old crack to go first. He'll beat Tendulkar in terms of the number of hundreds that he's hit. That's what he.
One day is all.
Well, one day is to start with. He's already well on the way. He's already well on the way. He's already on the way. He's already well and truly on the way. He's going to reach it probably easily. Considering the amount of time he's played. Tell me his stats. It'll just confirm what I'm saying.
Well, did Tendulkar get 100 international hundreds, didn't he?
Sorry?
Did Tendulkar get 100 international hundreds? Was it?
Yeah. I think
Kohli's got 70 international hundreds.
Yeah, but look,
30 is a long way left.
Hang on a minute. Hang on. Long way to go. I'm talking about the natural amount of time that it's involved. He will clearly pass that if he keeps it on normal standards of form and the like, which we have to accept will be the case. He is going to be very, very close, if not past him, very soon.
In terms of, how long would 30 international hundreds need? You'll need.
Okay, no. Tell me the facts. How many ODIs has Kohli played?
250 ODIs, 91 tests.
How many? So 250 ODIs. How many hundreds?
43.
Tendulkar hit 49 or 51?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't got Tendulkar in front of me. Okay, but he made his debut in 2008, Kohli.
Sorry?
So he needs 30 more hundreds to get to Tendulkar in international cricket. He's played.
I'm taking one step. No, you need to hear what I'm getting at. 250 ODIs, correct?
Yeah. 251.
Now, is right.
251, but yeah.
How many ODIs did Tendulkar play?
Oh, do you know you're asking me?
We'll have them both up, for God's sake.
463.
463. That's 212 more ODIs than Kohli. But how many centuries has Kohli hit? 43. And Tendulkar's hit how many?
40. He hit 49.
Okay. So, and let's be flippant here, but Kohli has hit 6 more centuries in over 212 or whatever.
The problem for Kohli isn't him being able to do it talent wise. It's how much time has he got to do it. You know, he's 32.
Okay. No.
Probably got 4 years left max. I can't see him playing much more than that. So he's going to have to get 900s a year to go past Tendulkar pretty much. 800s a year. That's a lot. That's a lot in international cricket. I can't see. Well, he might play on past 36, but a lot of people don't. So I'm not. Tendulkar's record's like that because of the longevity he had, and hence why he's so.
You're jumping around. Stick to the facts. What I just said to you: 251 ODIs, 43 centuries, 463, 49.
Yeah.
That statistically, on averages, means that Kohli is likely to beat him in that stat, hands down.
If he plays that many games, that's what I'm. Yeah.
Well, he won't need to play 200 ODIs to get another 6 centuries. I'll tell you that now. Okay.
No.
So that's clearly in his favour. He's likely to go very close on the aggregate, but he'll beat Kohli. He'll beat Tendulkar when it comes to numbers of centuries. Mark my word. Okay. T20s, he's already thrashed everybody. He's got to score a century in that format. But so the ODIs and T20s, he's already going to be number 1 and number 2, potentially 1 in both codes, both formats. Quite incredible. Okay, that is quite incredible. Okay, and then on top of that, his Test career at the moment, he's not anywhere near the top, granted, but if he bats reasonably well, he's likely to go past 10,000 in his career.
Should do, yeah.
So, okay, it's not Tendulkar's 15,000 or whatever he scored, but he's going to go very close. He's going to certainly reach the top 10 and potentially the top 5 batters in Test cricket. It's quite a remarkable performance. And based on how many years he played, how many matches he's played, statistically, I think his averages of how frequently he scores a century will be equal to Tendulkar's. Interesting stat. The other person that is not an Indian player, but Sundar, had Sundar continued playing, if you were to look at his county cricket stats in England, where he scored a multitude of centuries post his Test career, not that I'm saying counties exactly Test, but he also showed to me that he was capable of even beating Tendulkar's record overall.
Yeah, he still retired at age 38. So, you know, he was 37, whatever it was.
Who?
I mean, he's genius. He was brilliant.
Sundar finished at 37. No, it was earlier than that.
2015 he retired, and he's 43 now. So retired Test cricket at age 43. 37, 38 he retired at Test cricket. So no, he was certainly up there with being done, I would say. No, you've not got much left in the tank at Test cricket at that age, have you?
Yeah, but he played a few more years county and scored prolifically there. So I don't know. I think
very different than chalk and cheese.
Okay. Well, Amit is saying goodbye. Okay, that's fine. We'll see you later, Amit. Okay. The reality is that it's still a very impressive record. Okay?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Of all 3 formats, Tendulkar didn't have much of an opportunity in the T20 format to excel.
Played once.
He certainly did in the ODIs. But yeah, I think Kohli would have to go to number 2 on most lists in India.
I mean, if not better. I mean, you would say that he's probably stats-wise better than Tendulkar. He just Tendulkar's just got longevity because he played so much. You know, in pound for pound, if you're going pro rata, you would probably say that Kohli's arguably better. You know, it's controversial, but if you take out the fact that Tendulkar just played for so long. You know, if Kohli played for the same number of years, you would say that Kohli would probably have a better record than Sachin. So, and it's impossible to compare, but there's
No,
certainly.
I'm not trying to. Well, I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to say that Kohli's better than Tendulkar. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm trying to say
you can argue that he is. Yeah, I'm not. I know that that's not what you're saying, but my point is I think Tendulkar's career was so great is because how long he played for, and if
that was a major helping hand for him. Yes,
same as Anderson, same as other players. You know, it's if I think pound for pound, Kohli is probably better in terms of stats. If you lined up average strike rate, hundreds per game, Kohli probably is certainly as good as, if not better.
Yep, no doubt. I think we're going to be talking about. You're saying that Kohli's been around for 3 or 4 years. I think you're going to be more like 5 or 6 years.
You think he'll play? Will he play to 38, 39? I don't see it. He's got a young family. These things tend to grate on. Look at Dhoni. It's very rare these days that you get anyone playing to that sort of age. He'll retire when he's 35, 36, probably, you know, even go and play in the IPL for a few years and play, you know, tour around a bit and earn his money that way. But very rare Test match players want to play until they're 37, 38. It doesn't happen too much.
I'm probably not talking about Test cricket. I think he may well play ODIs and T20s.
Yeah.
And actually give up Test cricket. I don't know about that, but he could play ODIs for a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to see him play 3 ODIs come out very shortly. I'm predicting he'll score a century in one of those matches.
Yeah, there's every chance. He's a good player, isn't he? So yeah, we'll just see. It looks like his form might have come back a bit, but yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes, I guess. Difficult. England will be bowling well, so he'll have to bat well to do it. So no, it'll be good to watch.
It's just a pity that COVID actually came up, because I think we would have seen a lot more scores from players like that if the normal turn of events had happened. But you're kind of right, because he may finish earlier than we expect, because the very fact that he took time off for his first child is, I don't know, and I'm pretty sure it didn't happen. Tendulkar didn't take time off for his children, I don't think. I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, depends when they were born. I don't know. I think Kohli only took those times off because he couldn't come back to do the quarantine. You know, I think that he probably only missed 1 test if he didn't have to quarantine for 2 weeks. By the time he come back and quarantine, the series was over, wasn't it? So that probably didn't work in his favour.
Yeah. But I think it's a very interesting situation. You're going to have to glorify him, and hopefully he does achieve what his record shows that he will achieve it for quite some time to come.
Mm-hmm.
And he's having a little bit of a lull now, but not really, not after his most recent performance. All right, so what time are you needing to go, Chris?
I'll just head off in a sec, if that's if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I'm going to continue. I might do a bit of a monologue like I've done before. I don't mind on occasions, and I'll be talking a bit about some of my perceptions of things, and you might be able to post on that as well. The game is on tomorrow, correct? Same timings for the 3rd T20. The changes that we're going to predict for that, probably Rohit Sharma, if they say he's been rested for the first 2, he's likely to be played on the 3rd, which will probably mean they may give Rahul a break.
Cricket View. So I was reading a comment from Cricket View and Review Pandit. Chris, you never accept predictions until it really happens in case of Indian players, not of England players. What do you mean, Cricket View? I don't understand what you mean. I'm not talking about Rohit Sharma's 147 again, are we?
You're just jealous. You're just jealous because you haven't predicted anything correctly. You just said. You've even said that he would have, about something about, you were closer when he didn't even play. He can't be close if he didn't play. It doesn't count.
I wasn't joking.
Jesus. 7-8's fine. Do they run English courses? No, English. They run mathematics courses. They run.
I'll send the link to you if they do.
Can you do a cross one day to 7-8's fine training?
We can probably work something out, I'm sure.
Well, when do you start your season? At least your prep?
Probably a month, 6 weeks.
All right, we'll have something on then. I'm expecting to see you on talking from the ground and interviewing some of your fellow players.
We'll sort something out, I'm sure. Oh, look, Chris Fan Club's back in the house. Hello, Chris Fan Club, whoever you are, wherever you are.
It has to be your mother or something, or your girlfriend. Or
My mum wouldn't know how to turn a computer on, I don't think, let alone know how to set up a
that's a
fan club.
typical excuse you're giving for something that you just told her to press certain buttons, I'm sure. My God. So you're telling me categorically it's not someone you know?
I promise you, if it is someone I know, I'm not aware of it. But
You sound like what's that prince at the moment who claims he didn't know the one from America? What's his name? Prince?
Prince Harry.
No, Prince Harry. No, he's uncle.
Prince Andrew. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
not talk about British politics. I promise you, Norman, I do not know.
I'm talking about being not aware. Prince Andrew, he said he wasn't aware of that. Anyway,
Yeah.
my Siri on my computer just reacted then when I said that.
I honestly don't know who it is.
Oh.
But I'm going to head off, Norman, if that's all right.
All right, guys. Well, say goodbye to Chris Vernon. Now he's at Vern 158. We'll see Chris probably tomorrow, I'd imagine.
Yep. Sure, I can see you tomorrow.
Pre or post show?
Definitely pre-show. We'll see you post-show.
Well, if I can get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, I mean, I'm doing a U. Don't forget.
I did it 13 days in the Test series.
All
Norman,
right,
so
all right. Calm down. You have to start your stats. That's not relevant. That was your decision. I didn't force you to do it, did I?
Yeah, and I'm not forcing you to do it tomorrow. So
Okay, all right. So we'll say goodbye to Chris. Maybe we can get a close-up of his hat one more time before he leaves.
See, the two stumps are there, and then Seven Oaks invented the middle stump.
Actually, it looks like your batting stance too. Big gates. All right, Chris. Ciao, mate. We'll speak tomorrow.
We'll do people saying about predictions for tomorrow. We'll do predictions tomorrow. We'll see what the toss does, because I think that will probably tailor predictions for a lot of us. So we will do the predictions tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, Chris, say goodbye. But I'm staying on, guys. So say bye to Chris. Chris will be zapped. Once he presses the button, he's going to leave. There he goes. All right. Now, a few things I wanted to talk about, and I want your input, there's some understanding about the West Indies. West Indies could still figure in this T20 World Cup. And also Pakistan. They're also going to figure in the World Cup. They're not out of the woods. New Zealand are obviously there as well. We shouldn't forget those teams. We are concentrating a lot on Australia, India, and of course England. But you'd have to say that based on the statistics to date, India are likely to win the World Cup on home soil. That's a fairly fait accompli, and it should be that way in its approach. With the stability of the team coming up, and with the likes of Ishan Kishan making his move, Rahul still floating around. They've got Agarwal somewhere there in the background, with the likes of Sky, Punt, Rohit Sharma, and Rahul, and also Kohli. We're in with a great side. Bowling wise, it's going to be interesting how they actually do develop that. The bowling lineup probably needs a bit more work, but it's certainly getting closer. England is certainly more settled, I would argue. But Bumrah's return after his wedding hiatus will see him figure very importantly, as long as he's fit. Same with Archer. The fitness of Archer and the fitness of Bumrah are what are going to be two important aspects of the World Cup coming up in later this year. I think it's October, November specifically. The reality is that we have a lot of cricket coming up. We've got the 3 T20 internationals about to happen. We've got then a further 3 ODIs, not forgetting the Sri Lankan series, which will take place, which will be probably more of the second string players. Then we head over to a very effective World Test Championship, which I'm hoping to be there, and so is Tobias. Chris Vernon is already there. Simon is already there. David Gravity will have some. We'll have some lunchtime sessions that'll be very exciting. I think that you'll have a lot more to go in that regard, and I think it's somewhat of a great thing. I think there's a lot to be said, and I think that we'll be able to really understand a lot more about a lot of people that we've got on the show as well that are here, like Adam Holyoke. Appreciate what he knows about English cricket. David Graveney, Chris Vernon, Simon Willis. Our other guests have been very significant in that way. So we'll bring that into play when it comes to that series, the World Test Championship on June 18th at Ageas Bowl, which will be then followed by a series between England will be playing New Zealand before, and England will be playing India as well after, leading into the World Cup, and Australia then will have play in England, I should say, down under for the Test series, which will occur. All great interest. Privy Shaw is someone I'm very disappointed about. I think he didn't quite. He was probably over. What's the word for it? He was over expected, but too much expectation placed on his performance from a very young age, the next Tendulkar and all of that, and it hasn't happened. Well, it has happened domestically, and that's not international level, is it? So we can't really. It's very important not to judge a player only on the domestic level. They've got to actually produce it at the international level. So that's a very significant point. Let's look at some of the questions here. We've got a lot of questions around the tournament itself, the Vijay Hazare Trophy, not like the Ranji Trophy. They're very good, very. That's probably why Indian cricket's doing so well. They've got a lot of trophy-based or state-based or provincial-based cricket being played in amongst all these other matches, which is quite remarkable considering how much COVID has affected India, and India certainly has a lot more lockdowns occurring than they probably would like. Maharashtra seems to be one of the worst areas. It concerns me, particularly about mask usage at grounds, and I'm not your leader, of course, of your country, but I do think there's a need to be stronger adherence to masks, stronger adherence to social distancing, and the washing of your hands with the appropriate disinfectants. Might sound obvious things, but Australia's been particularly good at that. We've had great contact tracing by every place we go. With our phone, we scan it with air, and they will know exactly where you've been. I don't know how that's working in India. If it's working at all, that's something that should be really considered, not just in big cities. So I'm very much talking from that regard as well. I'd like to see more. I think it's wonderful that India are playing cricket in all locations, it seems, and the lower levels are getting a Guernsey as well. I don't know about street cricket, whether there's much street cricket going on. I'm guessing there wouldn't be, but it's something that I think is part and parcel in there, and I applaud that greatly. So, but we're forgetting one tournament that I haven't really mentioned is the IPL, and I'm particularly interested. We're going to have Chris Vernon on a regular basis. We're going to try and get more experts. Monty will be back probably in India at that stage. He'll be a part of us. He can talk about the insights he's got from the Road Safety World Series. We're trying to get him now to actually cross to us. The likes of Pretty and Apana and a few others are actually somehow trying to get them to arrange that to happen. Hopefully it will. A lot more to come, guys. A lot more to come. I just want you to make sure that you understand that subscribers to this channel are very important. It's not about me having more numbers or me having more money, because that's not quite what happens. Subscribers do not necessarily equate to money. Memberships do, but that's more because of what we will put out to you will come back to you. You will have organised events. We'll travel to you. We'll spend time there. We'll give you one-on-one time in Zoom or Skype as a format not recorded, so we can be freer, talk more freely and more candidly about things, and you can get more of an insightful feeling. And we've got a lot more people that we'd like to bring on into that situation as well. So please stay tuned for that. It's now March 15th in Australia. It's amazing, isn't it, how quickly time is going. We're motoring. The IPL starts April 9th. It's only just over 3 weeks away. We've got the famous World Test Championship, which it will become very famous, starts June 18th. That's just on 3 months away, and that's going to go very fast. If you look back 3 months, February, January, around the December mark, we had Test cricket burgeoning quite significantly. We're moving into the I think the Adelaide tests and the likes of the Sydney tests coming not far away, Melbourne tests. There were quite a few tests. In fact, we were playing T20s and ODIs, but we were moving very close to the, if not already, we were about a day away from the 3 months ago, that is, we were from the Adelaide test, which we all remember, the 36 all out. So we come 3 months down the track and we've got this. The same should be for the World Test Cricket, Test Championship, and the team make up that as well. So that's significant. So thank you for your time. That was an Aussie and a POM talking all things India. please supply more questions, not just in the live chat, but actually on the post video chat. There's a video line of questions you can ask. I often write there, as you know. We're hoping to reply to you there. So use that facility. And don't forget, Norman Kochnik at Norm Koch, NORMKOCH, on Instagram and also Twitter. If you haven't got a Twitter account, I understand that you may not wish to be on Twitter, but it is a good vehicle for getting quick answers from people. They often write questions there very quickly, and it's one of the highest strikes on a Google page, and it's something where people see first. So you might be able to impact by asking questions there. They'll be seen first, not just by the YouTube channel viewers, but by all. So that's pretty useful. I might get answers before they get to here, so it's worth considering. All right, guys, we might let you go now. And please don't forget to both view, like, and share the posts on this particular channel. We need to be able to have a lot to do with our members. I think some of them I'm already talking about on a regular basis. I found something very interesting around cricket statistics, to which we can make better use of. We're going to look at that being a part of our work. We've got a store now. I've got shirts which I'm going to look at getting, only because it's fun. It's not about making money. It's about having fun. I like to see us have the hats. I want to have a hat with something like Eyes on Cricket on there, and have a T-shirt with Chris's face looking very negative, and you can put that on when England are losing. It'll be quite funny to have a Chris face, or when Adam Holyoake. There's a great shot of Adam Holyoake missing the ball altogether. I think that's a rather funny shot. I don't know whether you guys have seen that, but I posted Adam Holyoake with the bat flying out of his hand, and we've got players in the background. I think it's Michael Bevan, the famous Australian player, in disbelief when he sees this rather awkward-looking bat flying out of Adam Holyoake's hand. Adam Holyoake is a great guy. He'll be reporting a lot more through the series, hopefully tying up with Extra Time and some of the other major platforms. So I'll be on Extra Time more often, I think, on ABP News. You'll see some things of me there. I'll share them on this page. But Sri Harsha Cricket have amazing videos on there. And I've featured in a few. They've had well over 870,000 views. I'm very impressed with the way they come across. I'm very much liking that. So ask me questions, guys. I'm waiting for some questions here. There's been a few. And we're looking at future ODI 11. Will include Shaw, Padikkal, Gill, Pant, Kishan, Samad, and Parag. We'll make a point of that, and we'll get that done. So, Mark Music Company, can you send me those names again? Put those names on this particular platform in this video after it goes fully through processing, so as we can record that. I'd like to set Music Company. Make sure you show me your future 11. All right, guys, I think we've done a pretty good job time-wise. So it's Norman Kochnik here. Eyes on Cricket. We need to get you to view, like, and share, subscribe. You've all got WhatsApp pages or WhatsApp groups. Send them to your WhatsApp groups, the videos that we're seeing here, and ultimately we can grow the channel and have a better membership base. Not that it's not good now. Thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate it. This is Norman Kochnik now signing off from Eyes on Cricket. Take care. See you tomorrow.